Hi, my name is Lori Adams, and for the last 18 months it has been my great privilege to serve as the transitional president of Church Extension. As Church Extension builds upon the strengths of its investment and loan operations, and as Church Extension expands its leadership development efforts, we've heard lots of questions. Especially we hear the question, why is Church Extension making all these changes? Our congregations and the wider church certainly deserve answers. About 6 years ago, our staff began noticing several trends around declining churches within our denomination. Especially we noticed the decline with churches we were serving with loan funds. Sunday attendance steadily decreasing among lots of these congregations. And these congregations are spending about 90% of their budgets on their facilities, administrative costs, and salaries. In many cases, the congregations were providing ministry that no longer was relevant to the communities in which they served. Strong disciple leaders were frustrated because they were trying to manage unsustainable systems that were based on past models and outdated thinking. To add insult to injury, these pastors were blamed for not having the ability to fix things and for lacking the preparation to lead during a time of significant challenge to the status quo. At the same time, other events were occurring. The new church priority of the Christian Church Disciples of Christ was gaining momentum. Planting churches where the missional vision of the planter could thrive in a particular target area was working well. Planters and other leaders found empowerment through assessment, discernment, training, coaching, and peer group experiences. Our new church model of starting 1,000 different churches in 1,000 different ways was successful because of the network of partnerships at work to raise up a village of new disciples congregations. Then, in 2004, the Office of the General Minister and President convened a task force to explore ways to formalize all kinds of networks and to generally provide better stewardship of general ministry resources. The task force suggested that Church Extension, Disciples Home Missions, and higher education and leadership ministries should come together to find ways to strengthen congregational leaders throughout our churches. As a result, a leadership summit was convened so that practitioners, seminary leaders, regional pastors, and general church leaders could discuss transformational leadership. We looked at the question, how would a broad strategy benefit congregational leaders and the wider church? And this is what we concluded. Transformational lay and clergy leaders help their congregations be missionally centered. They help their congregations focus outward on others, and they equip people to be the hands and feet of Jesus in the world. Empowered leaders know how to assess and help their congregations respond in contextually relevant ways to the needs of their communities. They help them serve in keeping with that community's language, with that community's ritual and that community's understanding of ministry. Transformational leaders first experience transformation in their own lives in order to help move other people through transformation. And transformational leaders need community development. They need change management and administrative skills. But they also need support and empowerment through spiritual exploration, peer support, and coaching. One of the most important conclusions to emerge during the process and exploration and discussion in the past couple of years is that a single region or seminary or general ministry cannot accomplish the work of developing strong leaders for this new era of God's mission. We can't do that alone. We must work together and in partnership. A new collaborative approach, a new entity is needed that can facilitate this work throughout the church. This realization has led to the creation of Hope Partnership for Missional Transformation. It is not the purpose of Hope Partnership to come into congregations with a formulaic approach to church vitality, but rather to work alongside partners of all kinds, to spark seeds of creativity, to spark seeds of faithfulness that exist in every congregation. And while Church Extension is a major contributor to this partnership, we work closely with Disciples Home Missions, who's providing staff time for service development and scholarships for training and peer group experiences. We partner with Higher Education and Leadership Ministries, who are offering scholarship grants to those seeking to be lay and clergy leaders. And we're aligning with other regional, seminary, congregational, and constituency group partners who bring invaluable expertise and connections to this important work. So what does this mean for the investment and loan work that the Board of Church Extension has always done? Well, with a little revamping, this work is absolutely continuing, but under a new name, the name of Disciples Church Extension Fund. The church lending environment has drastically changed over this last decade. Rather than issuing new construction loans to congregations, more churches need help remodeling facilities for new or different kinds of ministries in their communities. Other congregations need assistance relocating existing ministries to places where they can thrive. Often, churches need help restructuring their debt as they remake themselves to fit God's call for this time and this place. Disciples Church Extension Fund will continue to help congregations be good stewards of God's resources for God's mission. It just takes a little more financial savvy than it used to, a little more emphasis on new ways of connecting building with mission, and a whole lot more support for the leaders, clergy and lay, who are engaged in making local mission happen. God's call continues, but in new ways. We have to abandon old silos of work in favor of finding new ways to work together. We have to stop expecting old mechanisms of financial support in favor of generating new resources for God's mission. We have to embrace the learning of emerging forms of ministry that really are making huge differences in people's lives. We have to do that rather than relying on old membership frameworks of church life. None of us will always know how to do this well, consistently, and without flaw. But as regional and general partners, we hear the never-ending call from God to find ways to work together to strengthen congregational mission into God's ever-changing world. Blessings to you as together we take up this call.